Welcome to our coverage of ASUG Annual Conference and Sapphire Now 2014. We are in the ASUG News Studio, which is sponsored by NTT Data, and I'm joined by three guests from EMC. Our friends at EMC were based in Hopkinton, and I'm from New England, so I like that. My brother lives in Hopkinton, so I have a special affinity for you guys, so thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Go Red Sox?
Go Red Sox, that's right. So I'm going to start here. Just Bill Reed from EMC. Could you tell us just a little bit about what you do there? I mean, I know you do a lot, but...
Sure, my name is Bill Reed. I'm a senior director in EMC IT. Mm-hmm. My current responsibility is for our platform strategy and engineering organization, so really taking all of the different vendors that we interact with, SAP, EMC, VMware, and Pivotal, even in our own family, and determining how those solutions are going to fit within our own data center to meet our business needs for business transformations. Really supporting EMC internal customers rather than externally.
Right. Great, thanks Bill. Welcome
you.
back.
Thanks
You were here last year, actually. Mike Harding, what about you?
So Mike Harding, I'm the lead SAP technical architect within EMC IT. As we've talked about in the past, EMC's gone through a relatively large greenfield SAP implementation, so they kind of brought me in with an SAP background to give a little more SAP experience to the table for our implementation.
Were your eyes, when you first saw it, this is, from what I've heard...
It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one. I've seen a lot of different customer implementations. I've been in the SAP space for roughly 16 years now. And so it's definitely huge in scope, but not only that, it's very interesting being in the high-tech sector. You know, I've had a lot more background in, let's say, pharmaceuticals and healthcare. We're willing to be a little more, let's say, risk-averse here in the high-tech sector.
That's great. And you guys all have a presentation, right? When is that? Can you put
Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock,
Okay.
talking about our implementation of Virtual HANA.
Great. And Tim Wynn down in the end there.
Yeah, hi, Tom. So I'm Tim Wynn. I'm the SAP Global Technical Evangelist for EMC at Global Solution Marketing. And I work closely with Bill and Mike, but I work mostly in front of our customers, try to explain to them our solutions and what is it that we bring to the table for the SAP marketplace, right? I'm also an ASUG volunteer, market leader with the Enterprise Architecture SIG.
Yep.
So go ASUG, and
Yes.
This is all about ASUG, and very happy to be here.
Yeah, love our volunteers. Thank you very much for doing that. So, Bill, maybe I'll kick it over to you.
Sure.
Talk to us a little bit about, you guys have been very strategic, diligent with this greenfield opportunity. Kind of a model, I would say, for other companies. But also maybe other companies would be envious a bit because you guys did do a greenfield, right? You didn't have that legacy. Now you could probably say you're totally wrong, but you guys had a unique opportunity. At the high level, what's been the overriding approach EMC has taken to SAP?
Yeah, I think you highlighted a lot of it right when your greenfield approach. What we had been replacing was a very legacy 10-year-old ERP platform. And it didn't meet where we were as a company. It didn't meet our capabilities that we were looking to drive EMC for the next decade. So focus first and foremost business transformation. Let's ensure that anything that we're building now meets not just what we are for a company today, but really where we're going to go for the future. Looking back over the past decade with EMC, specifically with our partnership with VMware, specifically with a lot of what we've done for internal, we've taken all of the best practices and lessons learned around virtualizing of mission-critical applications, database tiers, application tiers, et cetera, and thrown that into the SAP arena as well.
Yep.
So everything that we've learned in a decade now of virtualization, apply that to our most critical asset in our system, focusing on, for our initial release, it's actually 23 months old this month, this week. Amazing, it's almost been 2 years for us, but really focusing on that foundation so that we could have subsequent releases year after year, building on that foundation to support EMC moving forward.
That's great.
And yeah, so one of the things that we're actively doing now is we're trying to be more proactive, right? We're less reactive to what the business wants, but be more proactive. SAP's now, I'd say a little more involved in the user experience space, which is Bill mentioned earlier, Bill McDermott that is, mentioned earlier. It's not been an area that SAP has excelled at in the past, but now there are new opportunities that you can bring to market, and I think with some of these newer capabilities such as Fiori, such as screen personas, you can be more proactive in basically driving more business value out of your SAP implementation.
Great. As you guys have thought about the prioritization of projects, clearly HANA came along. You guys started with the HANA sidecar operational data mart.
Yep.
What were the early lessons learned from there? Was it eye-opening? Was it?
It was. For us, we had a need for end of quarter, specifically as we're manufacturing our products and shipping them out the door. The last weeks of the quarter especially are most critical for us. And HANA came in as a position for where we could really get our on-hand inventory, our backlog reporting, even ship dollar for sales understanding not just running an ABAP report that may take 30 or 40 minutes to run, but run that real time. And operational data mart with the sidecar for HANA was our initial go live. I think for some of the positioning, we assumed we could just put it in and turn it on, everything would be wonderful. It took us time. It took us to think differently about how the modeling studio and views were to be created within the HANA store, using and leveraging the HANA modeling studio rather than using HANA as really just a really fast database.
Right.
You can do that, but it's really a very expensive fast database if you're looking at it in just that space. But understanding the power of analytics and understanding how we can create those models to give the business that value. The end of quarter reports that I mentioned before, we had a report that was taking us 45 minutes to get a simple backlog of every production order that's not yet shipped. On ABAP, that's just too much time for the last few hours of the quarter. After we transformed it, after we understood the power of HANA, understood the modeling studio capabilities, we're getting that report in 90 seconds.
Wow.
True business value, true business leadership that we can give back to the business to do their jobs, rather than coming to IT saying, can you make it a little bit faster?
Right.
Big
That's
win
huge.
for us there. Big win for us
From
there.
an enterprise architecture perspective, was HANA always a part of the plan? Or was HANA really around when you guys first started this?
So when we first started our SAP implementation, as Bill mentioned, we went live 24 months-ish ago, and it was a 3-year project leading up to that go live.
Right.
And HANA was kind of being introduced right around, I want to say, as we were getting close to go live. So all in all, we've probably been active in the HANA space for roughly 30 months, if you add it all up, including kind of some of our initial sandbox work. And so now what we're trying to do is kind of take it to the next level. As Bill mentioned, some of the things we had done with your traditional sidecar operational reporting data mart, you can really, from a technical infrastructure standpoint, kind of take more of a a business supporting type approach to that. Now taking it to the next level where you take SAP mission critical applications and run them on HANA as a true HANA database platform. Okay, now we got to think about availability differently, data protection differently, and this is kind of where we're at now, is bringing in newer capabilities in terms of data center solutions in order to support HANA in our business moving forward.
Right.
And from our perspective in global solution marketing, we learn a lot from what Bill and Mike are doing with our own EMC IT, our own in-house implementation, so we can share those lessons learned and those hard-learned lessons. Really,
Yeah,
actually,
you've been
a lot of
sharing
them.
those with the community.
Exactly,
for sure.
the community, and the idea is to not make that same mistake again. And we've had some tough decisions. I'm sure Bill and Mike will talk about.
So will eventually all the suite apps that you guys run on HANA, do you think? Do you envision that?
We've got a roadmap that suggests that that's the direction we want to go. I think there's a lot of learnings on our part. I think there's a lot of innovation still ahead of us with SAP. Late last year, we took our BPC platform, Business Planning and Consolidations, and we migrated that as we did first an upgrade to 10, and then we migrated that over to HANA. Loads instantly hundreds of times faster from what we were seeing in the traditional OLTP world running on HANA again.
Okay.
So as the apps are maturing and as our business processes are looking for those innovations, we're going to target each one specifically. We've got a roadmap later this year that I can probably talk a little bit closer about around BW, and then of course CRM even beyond that.
Wow, great.
Right, so I think when we talk about what are we going to migrate onto HANA, there's kind of two elements. It's what do I already have in-house, and that's where you really are going to focus on ROI. Where am I going to get my most return on investment? So you got to kind of do some analysis as to, is it worth putting the investment in to potentially move this platform onto HANA, or this solution onto HANA. There are some use cases and some SAP solutions out there. Let's say, for example, if you're running SAP SRM, and Ariba's around the corner, why would you invest necessarily in putting that on HANA? So a bit of analysis to be done there, but at the very high level, when you talk about new implementations, it's no secret that HANA is the core of SAP's innovations moving forward. So customers in general have to be prepared to adopt this new technology.
Right. And Tim, customers got some great news with the VMware announcement and you guys had some cool news as well.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at Bill McDermott's keynote this morning, where he's talking about 80% of new workloads on the cloud, right? That's huge. I mean, that is really, I think that we're again at a major inflection point where complete thinking changes is occurring on enterprise architecture, right? And I think that the news that I think everyone, ASAP members should look at is that for Virtualized HANA, that's really the future. And the appliance is just inflexible. I mean, it's just my opinion. I've blogged about it extensively. And it's just that, Mike and Bill will talk more about why this is a lot more flexible, a lot more, agile and so on and so forth. But the point is that if you're not using it today, if you're not deploying HANA today in virtualized mode, at least in non-production, you should be. And you should follow our lead to go ahead and deploy in production as well.
All right, what Tim and I we had talked about this previously. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for customers to start to adopt HANA, virtualized HANA for all your non-prod environments. It's going to drive up your utilization, it's going to drive up your availability, and therefore, allow you to manage costs of all this kind of environment sprawl. Not only that, one of the big challenges we had was really investing in skills development, making sure that up and down the stack we were developing new skills to support this new platform. With the power of VMware, for example, now I can provision HANA instances all over the place. I can support DBA training, for example, basis training, development training. So we've seen a lot of capabilities and empowerment by virtualizing HANA.
That's great. And I think, as I mentioned, we had one of our ASUG board members who's a CIO was like, this is huge news.
Yeah.
Is the word finally gotten out? Like people realize actually can happen now?
I think it's still getting out. I think that's some of the message we're going to be sharing this week, even at our session tomorrow. We're going to be at the VMware booth just after this, actually. We looked at that opportunity just to kind of add into the whole why it's so big.
Right.
When we were doing our BPC upgrade last year, we took that opportunity to say, let's move it to HANA, but at the same time, let's work with VMware, let's work with SAP from an engineering perspective, and let's showcase a lot of the lessons learned that Tim was talking about that we can share, and let's virtualize with VMware, vSphere, SAP HANA. Let's take that to the next level, and let's show that the SAP engineering teams, we can get those benchmarks, we can get that performance capability, and all the benefits that virtualization brings to the table, kind of bring it to the best. So we've been live since November, certified last month. So we were a little bit provocative, and Mike mentioned just a little bit before that we can be a little bit more risk averse because we've got the technology teams around us and the engineering teams of VMware and SAP at our side to work with this so that the customers, not just our own customers, but external customers can learn from some of the things that we've done and really drive that forward for the same reasons that we've been doing it for the past decade.
Customers have really been asking for this for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
our phones have been ringing off the hook ever since this announcement a few weeks ago. So.
Right. Speaking of that, Tim, I know you wanted to I'll give you the last word here, about the virtual SAP HANA disaster recovery news that you wanted to...
Yeah, so virtualized HANA is not just about efficiencies and agility that Tomas talked about. It's really about being a very powerful enabler, right? So one of the biggest challenge of running HANA in full production is to have a very solid disaster recovery plan, right? And up until now, I think that everything that's been discussed, publicly at least, has been for sync distance, for like 100 kilometers or less, right? Anything beyond that, it's kind of like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We are working together with Deloitte and VMware and Cisco. EMC has put together a proof of concept that we'll be discussing publicly at 4:15 on tomorrow after the EMC session, EMC session that Bill and Mike, to share with the world, what we've done with it, how we were able to have virtualized HANA running in the Deloitte data center in Georgia, in Suwanee, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and have it recovered at our DR site in the EMC data center in Durham, North Carolina, 550 kilometers away. And we were able to actually go over and back. So,
wow, awesome.
Just come tomorrow, just join us, and we're happy to show up with you guys.
Great. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming into the studio. It's been great. Good
Thank
luck
you.
on your future projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. For more SAP customer stories, please go to asugnews.com.